everybody. Hi. I hope I'm sitting at a good angle. Hi, everyone. So, I decided to do a story time, and before I work, I just shot, what's this? Semi real for a campaign that I have to do. For a humans campaign that I have to do. I'm gonna leave the humans link below so you guys can join if you're interested in being a content creator or a digital creator, or yeah, if you're just looking to do like to have some extra money but with the things that actually align with whatever that it is that you enjoy. I'll leave the link below. So I was doing that, and then after that I'm gonna go back to work basically. So I just thought, because I'm shooting, I might as well just shoot the story time that I've been thinking about. So um it's a godly story time basically. So my journey with God is not something that is suddenly happening. No, it's not. It's not sudden. Wait, guys, I haven't had tea in such a long time. Yeah. Oh my God, I haven't had tea in forever. And now that I'm having it, and it's that time of the month, I just feel like, you know what, my prayers are being answered. Either way, yeah, like I was saying, thank you so much for those who got back to me in terms of the last video, which was basically godly also. So before you think, oh, is she now gonna do content about God and prayer and church and no, I'm not gonna do that. I just right now I just feel the necessity to just share a few things, right? Right. So basically I want to talk about what God has done for me, my experience with God, my experience with whatever it is that He keeps on giving, He keeps on showing, He keeps on my experience. And I want to date it back to when I was very small. I have this thing. Okay, firstly, I want to address this. I think I have a closer relationship with God than I do with Kibizi. I think I have a closer relationship with God than I do with Jesus Christ, right? And why I say that is because I noticed a lot of people when they pray or they talk about God and whatnot, they add Jesus Christ and whatnot, and I felt a bit guilty that I lack the knowledge to add Jesus Christ in certain conversations. Um, I don't know how to explain this, but I don't know where I stand, or basically, I don't have enough knowledge to refer to Jesus Christ in most scenarios, which for me was a huge question in terms of Kante, what's what, like with me in terms of me and what I believe and my thoughts and whatnot and whatnot. Why can't I say this? Why can't I say Jesus Christ this? Whatnot this? I can say in the name of Jesus Christ because I know that Jesus Christ was a messenger and Jesus Christ is a part of the entire thing. But I lack in depth to explain to people or to refer to Jesus Christ in depth like I like that. So that's when I noticed, oh, I don't really have a relationship with Jesus Christ. I have a relationship with God. That's when I realized. And I was like, okay, well, is that a bad thing or a good thing? This is me asking myself. I wonder if it's a bad thing or what. But then I realized why I don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ. And it was a thing of, from a very young age, uh, I felt, what can I say? I had a spiritual connection with whatever. I'm not going to say with Badim or whatnot, but I could dream, I could do this, I could do that. But at the same time, I went to church when I was younger. And in church, I can't even lie about this. I cannot remember certain things in church. I can't remember from the little girl, I cannot remember anything she learned in church. I also went to Sunday school for a while. I can't remember. I remember being in Sunday school. I remember being present in Sunday school. I remember going to Sunday school with my cousins. I remember all of that, but I cannot remember whatever teachings that I was taught in Sunday school. Instead, at that age, I remember the prayers that my taxi driver used to pray. I remember that I had more connection with the people around me and the gospel than I had at church and the gospel. So I think that's where the disconnect with Jesus Christ was. Because I feel like that's where you learn most about Jesus Christ and church in the Bible, with the priest preaching about Jesus Christ. So I think that's where my disconnect was. And then as I grew older, the first connection I consciously made was a spiritual connection with ancestral beliefs. So to me, I would dream of whatever old person telling me that ngwanaka bua le ntate Modimo, bua le eng le eng le eng le eng le eng. And I know a lot of people are gonna find this quite, I don't know, they're not gonna agree with what I'm saying, but that for me was ngwana ntate Modimo telling me what to do with my relationship with God, or leading me in a direction. I don't know if that makes sense. So other people know God through Jesus Christ, and I know God through my dreams and the people he sends through my dreams and whatnot. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. I hope it makes sense. So that's where I like, the only connection I have with Jesus Christ right now is the fact that we both believe in God, and we both believe in what God can do for us and what God can do for everyone else. That's the connection I have with Jesus Christ right now. So let me just I just needed to address that because I felt like it was bothering me, but at the same time, I don't know if it's also, if it's something that you've also noticed. Tell me, let me know. But I'm hoping in the future that I can have a better understanding of not only Jesus Christ but a relationship with him, right? Because I want to understand and I want to know. One thing about me, I believe that in life I'm gonna have to believe in different things to get to certain places. I'm gonna have to see different things to believe different things. I'm gonna have to be a part of different things to actually get to where I'm trying to be, as long as they align with my comfortability, as long as they align with my truth. Fine. So here's what. So when I was younger, I'm just gonna give you a backstory. I have my parents had me when they were very young, right? Right. So I had to stay with my grandmother, right? Which is my biological grandmother's sister. I had to stay with her. So my parents were very like mamela groovists, and they still are, right? So I would get like, I'm a child, right? I'm a child who gets told every week. What would happen is every Fridays I would go to my parents' place, but then Sunday go back to my grand's place so that I can go to school easier and whatnot, whatnot. Fine. I think I've explained this somewhere, maybe podcast, I don't know. So what had happened is from a very young age, people would turn me against certain things that I loved, right? So I loved, firstly, I was a very passionate speaker, as like, I mean, it makes sense. I was a very passionate speaker. So people would say, wow, what's a China? Especially elders, right? Mind you, it was not in disrespect. I didn't buahahulu in disrespect, but I had too many opinions for a child, right? So I would be told about my parents and this and that and that and that. And I remember this one time where something in me was like, there's nothing on this earth that will compare to the comfort of being in your own home, even with all the struggles, right? Right. Like I was saying, so people would turn me against certain things that I love, right? And I remember at that time, I think I was still attending church. At that time, I was still attending church, and I've always been surrounded by people that are believers, like my cousins, and they they are believers. At that time, I knew nothing. I knew nothing, honestly. And my sister also. My sister is the type, she's very passionate about anything and everything. Once she chooses whatever she's passionate about, you'll never not know about it. If it's spirituality, if it's Christianity, church, whatever, you'll never not know, right? Uh-huh. I'm sorry, this is such a bad thing to do. But it's irritating me. Either way. So, my tea's finished. So, I think I was in grade 3. Yeah. When I decided to go to live with my parents. Grade 3. So, grade 3, I was how many years old? 10. I think I was 9 when I decided to go live with my parents. I think that's the right age. I don't know, but yeah, 9. So 9. At this time, we're living. I don't know if you would know this, like Pilong Movangu side, which was like I, I don't know the distance, but it's the other side of Vanderbilt Park, so it's a bit far, right? And then I was schooling in Three Rivers, so you can imagine. That's why I had to live with my grandmother, who lives in Vereeniging, so it was easier, right? So I would go on to 2 taxis at 9 years old. Firstly, I would take one taxi to Vereeniging. I would take 2 taxis. So from Mvango to Vereeniging, that taxi I would take with my sister, but she would get off at General Smuts. So I would take a taxi from the Vereeniging rank to, what's this? The Three Rivers Mall rank. Yeah, slash rank. And I would walk to school. Fine. So that happened for like a few years, man. A few years. I can't remember. I can't recall how long it happened. But it happened, right? Until my grandmother decided, my mother's mother decided to take children and like use her car to take children to school. So I was obviously, and she took the kids at my school, the kids that were in school with me. Yeah, so it was easier, right? But that happened for a while, and I remember I asked my mom, I was like, okay, scratch life and everything. How did I survive that phase? The phase of transitioning to living ekasi from like Western vibes, suburban vibes, to, I know when you're a child you don't think of such things, but I was very opinionated and I was very picky, and I still am, about not only my surroundings but everything. But that's when I told my mom, I was like, you know what, nothing beats being happy where you're supposed to be. Because I also told her a few weeks ago, I was like, there was nothing wrong, besides the things that they were saying, there was nothing wrong, that there was nothing lacking at my grandmother's house. There was nothing lacking, but I needed my mom. I needed my dad. I needed my family. I needed to be with them, no matter the circumstance. So that happened, and guys, we were thinking about this now. It was, I think, a 2-bedroomed house. No, it was a 1-bedroomed house. It was a 1-bedroom, a bathroom that only had a toilet, a dining room that is combined with the kitchen, né? And this is the amount of people that live there. My dad's sister, my mom's sister. These are my aunts, who I call my sisters, right? And then my mom, my dad, me, and my first little brother. So there was 6 of us living in that house, sleeping in 1 bedroom. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how. And this is where I say grace of God, right? We were like, even in that circumstance, I want to tell you, we were like the richest people that lived there. Because one thing about my dad, he will provide. Like, and I'm pretty sure at that time his salary was like 6,000 rand or 5 or something. Mind you, he works in Johannesburg. We live in the Val. He travels to work every day. I travel to school every day. There's 6 of us in the house. It's wild. It's wild. How do you get? We were also very very happy. Like right now we're not as happy as we were when we were broke. Like the happiness was. Listen, I had the best childhood in terms of support, in terms of like I had a very smooth childhood. When I look back and I ask myself, that's one of the reasons why I cannot, like, if I can't get something now, I can't stress about it, or I can't say to my dad, oh, I want it. Like right now, I ask myself, how did you do all of that? How did you do all of that? All of that. Mind you, I school in this top school where I get everything I want. Listen, I got a phone as early as grade two. Hey, end of grade two towards grade three. That's when I got a phone, whatnot. My dad was not rich. My dad was not rich, but we lived like rich people at that time. So that happened, right? So it's me traveling long distance to school. It's me transitioning to different places in my life. It's us being squashed into a lifestyle that I don't know how we survived, but everyone was happy. Everyone was happy. That was like one of the listen, listen, story time for another day. But I'm like from that phase to when I was now older, and okay, fine. When I got older, things were very good. We were very good financially. Everything was good. Everything was good, and now it was time for me to go to high school, right? And now it's a personal change right now. This is when that first scenario, and that didn't only happen once, mind you. That the lifestyle we were living, it did not happen once. It happened maybe in that phase from grade one to grade seven. Maybe it happened like 2 3 times because we moved. It happened, the phases of whatever lifestyles happened quite a number of times, but we were happy. We were happy. So that's why I felt like God took me out of, I wouldn't be who I am today had God not taken me out of my grandmother's house to my parents' house. I wouldn't have the values that I have today. I wouldn't have the values that I stress on my siblings today. Like I don't even know how to thoroughly detail. I think if I would tell you the day to day, then you would understand. But I'm just trying to sum it up because there's no way that I'm gonna detail everything, right? Fine. So transitioning to high school, one thing about me, I don't think I was popular. Yes, I was known, but I was not popular. I didn't desire to be popular. I had popular friends. Yeah, but I was not popular and it was not something that I want. And then very early, I did mention in the last video, I had a friend who was very biblical, and I had my own like spiritual journey that I was encountering at that time. But now, remember, I'm not a teenager yet, and my teens are about to start. And now, the last thing you have on your mind as a teenager, or the last thing you have on your mind as a child, is prayer. Like the last thing you have on your mind is prayer. The only person who stresses prayer in my life, and listen, who is just like, no, we need to pray, no, we need to pray, no, we need, is my mom. My mom, one thing about my mom, she will dream, she will pray, she will tell you, she doesn't do it religiously so, but it's something that she does and she's invested in. So fine. I remember the first um, time I decided that I'm gonna pray about the situation was a boy situation, right? And multiple boys situation. So it's basically my first, my second, and my third. or my first and second, like, jaws. Like, you know when you teach yourself how to jaw, like that. So these people were people where I felt, oh my God, I'm one person that I like. I've always had this vision that when I date, I'm gonna date and it's gonna be someone that I grow with. Like when I decide to date, I'm gonna grow with this person. We're going to start dating in school. We're going to grow outside of school. Listen, I'm going to build something solid with this person. So I've always had that mindset. That's how I've always dated. Fine. And I would meet with these people. One thing about all of us, we're born into different values. We absorb different, or we adjust, or we take in different morals and values even when we grow older. So I have this strong system that I'm working with, but no one resonates with it. So no one can match my energy, right? So I remember praying to God. I was like, one thing about me, it's not like I wanted something similar to my parents. No, trust me, I don't, because that is something special. That is something different. That is something tailored for them. Listen, one day I'll talk about it, but it's their thing. So, and no one is built like my dad. No one is built like my mom. Trust me. So no one is going to. I'm not even like my mom, so I'm not gonna get what my mom got. And no one is like my dad, so no one's gonna give me the attention that my dad is giving my mom. So what had happened is, basically, I remember praying, and I'm like, okay, God, this thing of me wanting a boyfriend that I'm gonna, like a high school sweetheart, is not gonna work. So this is what I'm gonna do. I am not gonna sleep with any guy. I'm not gonna be intimate with any guy until one day someone decides, or until I meet someone who shares the same values, because I don't feel comfortable with sharing my body with guys. I don't feel comfortable at all. I don't think at that time, what I didn't want to be intimate, have a kid, not have a boyfriend at the end of the day, but have a child, and now I'm raising the child alone, whereas I was not raised alone. So to me, it was always, what's going to happen after that? What's going to happen after that? What's going to happen after that? Do I want that? No, I don't want that. So I'm not going to contribute to that end goal, right? So that's how I got into this. I realized that not everyone shares the vision of a happy family. Not everyone is born into a happy family. Not everyone is experiencing the happy family that I'm experiencing. So I'm not gonna get it. Not at that time. I'm not gonna get it the way that I've seen it happen, right? So I'm not gonna do anything that goes into that. I'm not gonna be sexually active. I'm not gonna. That's how I got to the decision that I cannot be doing things that a happy couple or an in love couple does, whereas I'm getting different energy. That's not what I've seen. That's not what I've grown up seeing. So I'm not gonna feed into it, right? So that's my relationship with God in this in a relationship context. So it's like, God, please not help me, but give me the strength, or shield me from whatever pressures of outside when I try to date, or when I do give someone a nod of approval in terms of them wanting to date me. Shield me from whatever pressures that they're going to give me. And when I tell you that even the guys that have experienced me, or my personality, or me as a girlfriend, they can also tell you that there's never a time where I thought twice about intimacy. Like, oh no, I cannot. There's never a time. And who's that? I really, really believe that I didn't do that alone. I didn't do that alone. Because I asked God to give me the strength or whatever, or the wisdom, or the. I didn't do that alone. I didn't manage to get to 21, a virgin, with just me saying no. I didn't. I did. Trust me, I didn't. Let me tell you why I didn't. Because at 16, yeah, 16, when I met this one guy, and I thought, my God, if I've now found him, we can go back on that, the deal we made. We can go back on that one, because if this guy is the one, or almost the one, can you please just let me go all in? Let me experience this person. Let me. And hopefully this person is going to be like receiving of whatever, and also will reciprocate, right? Turns out, not the case. But I did say, however, God, should this person not be what they should be, or what they can be for me, let me remain the same. Let me not, I don't know, let me remain the same. Let my values remain the same. Let him get the very same attention that everyone else will get or has gotten. And it has stayed like that. So who's that? It's not me alone. I really do not think it's just me alone doing this. I really do not think it's just me alone doing this. So that's, in a relationship context, that is my God. That is what me and my God have a conversation, and he helps me out, and I listen when something in me says no. Trust me, it's a no. I don't question it. I have a very I'm gonna say, it's not a spiritual gut feeling, but I have a very strong intuition of feeling towards, this is not right. This is not like, mm-mm, mm-mm. Me and my God don't roll like this. If I do this, he's not gonna be happy. He's not gonna be happy, right? Right. So another thing. So fast forward, in grade 11, I fail. How? I knew in term 2. I said this. There is a video somewhere here on YouTube. In term 2, grade 11, I told my mom, I was crying. I failed physics and maths. And I told her, I was like, I'm not going to make this year. And then she was like, no, it's just how you feel right now. Can you work towards it? And I'm like, I am not going to make this year. I can feel it. I'm not going to make this year. And I don't remember, honestly speaking, I don't remember going through a tough phase. I don't remember, yes, I had tough phases, like I had tough situations around me, but I don't remember being depressed. Or I don't remember not being able to do like my work. So I can't pinpoint to the T what made me fail, but I knew that I was going to fail that year. Fine. I failed. I repeated grade 11 like I was doing it the first time. Like, I just did grade 11. There's never a time where I felt ashamed. There's never a time where I felt sad. There was never a time. Instead, I just had irritation of, I just want to finish grade 11. I should have been done right now. I should have been. But there was never a time where I was really sad. Never. I do not recall. The day I got my results, 4th term, that I failed grade 11, I cried for like 2 minutes. I cried and I stopped, and life went on. And I remember praying before returning to school that let nothing disturb my peace. I'm okay with the situation. God, please give me the strength to just finish the year and do well. I didn't want to do perfect. I didn't want to do great. I just wanted to do well, because at that point, I just wanted to finish school. I just wanted to do well. And who did that with me? Certainly not me alone. There were times where I remember I came back tired almost every day of first term. I slept every day of first term after school. And then I I was very, I didn't care. I didn't care what happens. Some of the classes I started banking grade 11, but I would bank like I would bank LOs, your whatnot, like lousy subjects, but I wouldn't bank your maths and your whatnot. I wouldn't bank important stuff. but I would bank subs, whatnot, study periods, whatnot. Like the the classes basically I felt like I had no weight and I knew, then I would bank. That's the first time I voluntarily just banked. It was the second time I repeated grade 11. And then, okay, fine, I passed grade 11, went to matric, passed matric, post matric. No, is it post? No, that's postgraduate is before. After matric, prior matric. No, man, it's post. I'm right. Post matric. So this is what happened. My dad got retrenched. I think whilst I was doing matric, my dad got retrenched. Got his monies, whatnot. And mind you, I have to go to varsity. I have to go with this. I have to go with that. But one thing about me, at that time, I was no longer sure about varsity because I was stressed out. I was tired. I didn't feel good about school. Just in my system, I didn't feel good about school. So when this thing of my dad not having work came forth, it was just another reason not to go to school. It was like, why go to school? Why chow the money when I can? He has the money right now to invest in whatever dream that I like, whatever talents that I have that I can make money from, and later on go to school. And then obviously, we have multiple businesses at home, and I have mine, right? So my mom wanted to do something, he wanted to do something, I wanted to do something. So we funded all of those things, right? We funded all of these things. But we decided to fund one thing that we'd work towards, all of us put our energy into it. When the profits and the money multiplies, everyone takes their share, everyone goes on with their lives and their dreams, and we sing Kumbaya. Tell me, how did life go from we are going to work to there's nothing? Like, there's nothing. We are back to square one. Square one, like a million years ago, square one. A million years ago, square one. So it was bad. It was bad. Mind you, my dad was recovering from whatever that was going on at work, which took a toll on all of us. Because one thing about us, we support each other. One thing about us, when my mom's stressed out, I'm stressed out. Because she's going to stress me out. Like, guaranteed, she's going to stress me out. She's going to put a mood on me. So I'm going to be moody. And it's a domino effect, right? So when my dad stressed out, we all got stressed out. Everything went downhill. We lost the monies, we lost the cars, we lost everything. We lost everything. We relocated, downgraded basically, downgraded, and there was just like a few things left to make a plan financially. A few things left, and then this one time we had a touring company. Like what's this? We rented out cars. This one time we rent out this car that basically it's the lost one left in the yard. We rent out the car and it's written off. Accident. When I tell you we went broke the same time we got that call. I am not like, guys, people aren't lying when they say I went broke overnight, or I went this, or I did that. I was homeless in a blink of an eye. It's not lies. It is not lies. When I tell you, oh man, it's crazy to think about it now because, like, you wouldn't tell. You would not tell. And at that time, you would not tell either. I posted a video just yesterday, yes. And I was like, I'm going to do a story time about these two videos where I looked so pretty. I was such a princess, but things were bad. Like, things were like mdoho every day bad. But then This is crazy. So when I tell you that we lost money, that day, that day when the car got into an accident, we were broke same time, like zero in account. Everyone has zero in the house. We have 0 rands. And that's when my depression kicked in. Everyone's depression, basically. I feel like we all went into an immediate depression because we all knew what this meant and we all feared. Most of all, I think we all feared the worst. Like subconsciously, we feared the worst. But my mom was always so happy. One thing about my mom was always waking up. She had stress. She would cry and whatnot, but she would wake up happy and she would always say, "There's nothing in the house. There's no food. There's no what. There's no what." But she wants us to wake up. She wants us to clean. She wants us to look good. Like we have plans. Like we have. Listen, my phone has no data. There's no food. There's nothing for me to do in the house. There's nothing for me to do in the house. I don't. I can't even start cooking. There's nothing to cook. There's nothing to cook. I'm not laughing. My mom would be like, "Wake up, let's look pretty. What not? What's about the blessings, even if you decide to take a walk, you must look cute, you must look beautiful, you must look more than like we would put extra efforts in looking a certain way because my mom would just would say, I would say I'm saying extra efforts is because you're already not feeling like doing it. But one thing I knew that when you wake up and you decide to look good, you feel greater even with the circumstance or whatever's happening. Fine, that would happen. I remember there were multiple times where we had to fetch the children from school. We had to fetch the children from school and Mercedes would get stuck. Mind you, you cannot push a Mercedes. When it stops, it stops. You can't push a Mercedes. What are you doing? What are you trying to do? When it stops, it stops. Because there's no petrol. And I would send like my friends messages. Please give me 100 rand. I'll give it back by the end of the month. Please give it back. Like we would all just find money some way, somehow. Listen. And we would pray. That's where my praying started. I think that's where my not excessive prayer. I'm not gonna say excessive prayer, but that's where my everyday praying. What do you want? There's nothing for you in here. That's where my everyday prayer started. And also, mind you, we're all going through this as a family, right? We're going through this as a family. But everyone has their own stresses. My stresses are that I should have went to school. Maybe had I went to school, whatever. Mind you, I was rewriting. Also. Maybe had I gone to school and lived at res, I wouldn't be experiencing this. I would have had maybe NSFAS money. It would have been contributed. Like, why did I do this decision? Also, the boyfriend at that time decides to also just turn my life upside down. And everything is just. I remember telling myself that I have bigger problems than a boyfriend. I remember just blocking him out of my life. Like, I'm gonna put block. I will deal with this person the day that this household is together. Because I cannot be stressing about this person. He doesn't know half of the things that, and I'm not about to tell him. I'm not about to tell him what's happening in this household. He doesn't have to know. I remember praying every day because my mom would also say, pray, 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 pray. I had to pray every day, every day, every day. And tell me how we would also fight. We used to fight. Because at that time we also had a company, right? We had a company which now we had to put, we still have the company. We have to put 1,000% into this company because there's nothing in the house and we need the profits and it's not making the profits yet. We've closed the food shop, we've closed the tours, we are left with insurance. Insurance is a difficult job, I don't want to lie. It's a difficult job. It's a difficult job, especially when you're someone like me who, yes, is smart, but you're not a finance person. You're not a finance person. You're a corporate person, yes, but you're not a finance person. So it becomes very difficult to even be enthusiastic about the process or about whatever's happening. And you're getting, your boss is your dad, and your dad is shouting at you from a dad and a boss perspective, and you have your own gingas, you have your own problems. We were fighting every day. We were fighting every day. We were fighting every day. But every day I would go to, I remember I called one of my friends who her parents were going through a phase and I think a divorce, but I'm not sure if it happened. But I told her, I was like, I fear the worst because we are fighting. And she was like, you know what? The best thing to do right now is for you to take yourself out of the situation because you already have your own problems and your own feelings about the situation. So you must like detach yourself from that. And I did that. And every day I would, yes, we're still a family, but I would not participate in whatever stresses we have. I would try to find solutions and I would pray to God that God, please give me solutions. Please make me the neutral mind in this house. Please make me the child because I don't want to be a part of what's happening up there. Please make me the middleman. Help me also help myself in the situation. Please, when I tell you that God answered the prayers, but I mean, you can see. And since that day, God keeps answering the prayers. It's not easy. I have hopes of one day having a very naked conversation about all of it. A very naked and a very detailed conversation about all of it. But I do not want people to get to know me like that until a certain point in my life or whatever. I don't want people to get to know me like that. And I don't want, like, I want to build a certain experience with my parents before I can even have a voice in sharing a part of their story because it's also their lives, right? Even if it's from my perspective, it's also their lives. And we live our lives very in sync and very transparent to such an extent that whatever happens to me happens to them and vice versa. So I can't, not right now, but when I tell you that my God, not the God I found in church, not the God that I found in these walls, in the walls of the other houses that I've lived in, the God that lives inside of this little girl that was 9 years old, that God just keeps filling in the cup. Even when it gets empty, He fills it up again. Even when it gets, like, it's a miracle to me that every time something goes wrong and I say, God, please, and He helps out. Might not always be the way that I think He'll help out or I hope He'll help out, but it is always so beneficial to both me and my faith. I always tell my dad that I want God to, like, it's almost as if I want God to teach everyone a lesson by taking everything away from them so that they can understand what it means to have everything that you pray for. Because I don't want to lie. I want certain things in my life right now. I want certain things in my life. But when I look at the things that I have and the things that I lost and now I have again, it's like, surely, girl, surely you see that God does the things. You will get whatever you want, just not now. And when you do get it, you have to be prepared. You have to work towards getting it. You have to be emotionally and faithfully, spiritually prepared to handle whatever that is coming. So every time I ask for something, I ask myself, would see, okay, should this thing give me challenges? Am I equipped to know? Yes. Every time I want something, I ask myself, am I equipped? Okay, should it break down? Should that thing break down? Am I equipped? Am I okay with losing it again? Am I okay with this and that and that and that? And that? Listen. So every time God denies me something, I'm like, I know maybe I'm not gonna handle the pain because everything comes with a yay and a nay. Everything comes terms and conditions. Everything comes with the good and the bad. So only when you are equipped for both the good and the bad of whatever situation that is coming towards you, and only if you have God in it, that's the only time it'll work. That's the only time it'll work. Because why ask for things? Why want something if you're not going to do it with the person or the power that you've asked from. I don't know if that makes sense. But why ask? Why involve a person? It's like when someone tells you a secret, but it's like, but I don't want you to help me. I don't want you to think about it. Like, why involve me if you do not want to be you don't want me to be a part of this? Don't involve me. That's my understanding of involving God. If you're gonna involve God, you have to keep Him in it, in the entire thing, always. So I just wanted to share the story time and to share what it means for me to have a relationship with God. This is what it means. And I try my utmost best to not only remain faithful, but to always pour into God's cup also. Not in terms of doing good deeds or whatnot, but in terms of keeping the same energy. Like keeping the same energy, being true to myself, being true to whatever it is that I've learned during during the relationship I have with Him. So I would like for you guys to just share with me your thoughts on this. Share with me your experiences. Guys, DM me. I love one thing I've realized about people. There's never a time where I told people I can therapist for you or I can psychologist for you. There's never a time. But so many people come to me with their problems, and I'm like, and many a times when they come to me with their problem has something to do with something that's happening in my life, and now I can link the two. Obviously, I don't share my burdens with them. I help them with theirs, or I just neutralize the situation because you can't fully help someone. But I neutralize the situation and I assure them the same way that I feel like I would want to be assured, right? But one thing about me, I will always make sure you see where you've gone wrong because I'm dealing with you. I'm not dealing with the next person, or I'm not dealing with the situation you're in. I'm dealing with you and your perception, right? So if we change your perception and your attitude towards whatever that's happening in your life, then you can change the outcome, you can change whatever's happening, basically. So let me know, guys. Let's talk about these things. I have people that I have very strong supportive systems or examples. So, and I have a very leveled head in terms of the next person. I might not do well in my own life, but in terms of the next person, I am very capable. So, hit me up, guys. Always hit me up. Hit me up. And it's so nice to help someone find closure without them having to go back to the pain, like directly to the pain, but having them find closure outside of the pain so that they can treat the pain differently. As such, I don't know how to explain it, but it's satisfactory. So yeah, guys, I just thought I should share this. This is very long. This is very long, but I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna have my breakfast now. I don't know what time it is, but surely it's like past 11 to 12 or after, like past 11 to 12. I'm gonna have breakfast, have tea again. Thank you.